You never met a man like me. You wouldn't understand. I'm in a rock and roll business, honey. Well, I'm in a rock and roll band.
Good morning. Welcome to the Rockstar Fitness Podcast, proudly in association with Mr. Simon Dutton of Make Fitness and Mr. Robb McGeary of the Fat Loss Fatly, who used to have hair. Boys, how are we?
We're good. Counting down, what are we, 4 days away from the Mecca's reopening?
4 days. I'm not that bothered, as you can tell. My office. No, I'm looking forward to actually get into a gym and work with some people again. I don't, as much as I like the idea of being kind of an online only type trainer, it's nice to be in a gym working with people.
Yeah.
Getting hands on, making people cry. I'm joking. Maybe. Simon, new t-shirt.
New t-shirt, yeah. Try and look a little bit more professional. Yeah, I'm good. Gym's been open here for a while, so it's been all right. Rob, are we all right? Because I told you to watch Spirity and you had a bit of a fit on Instagram.
Well, I'm only going to address you through JP, so directly to you. So I put a story up recommending documentaries because I've been down a rabbit hole of these extreme climbers in Yosemite. It's blown my mind. The prerequisites were: A, it has to blow my mind; B, it has to inspire me. And Simon was one of several people that have all jumped in straight away saying you have to watch Seaspiracy.
I've not watched Spirity. My comment was, can you watch Spirity so we can see the rant afterwards?
I mean, I've got to be honest with you. Anything that's about like the environment or food, I'm just not watching it.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm going to make a caveat. I'm going to apply a caveat. Anything on Netflix that's about the environment or food, I'm not watching.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
100%. It's designed to get clicks and shares rather than actually spread information, right?
That's not the place to get information. That's not the place to learn about nutrition or the environment or actually anything serious at all.
I was going to suggest to Rob that the documentary about the Night Stalker is really, really good, but I'm hoping that won't inspire you. You know, so maybe a different one.
I'm much more of a day stalker.
He's fired. So Seaspiracy, fill me in. Who's watched it? I haven't seen it. I keep seeing posts about it. I haven't. I've got plot synopses from a number of people, and I literally, as soon as somebody said it was the same people as Cowspiracy, I was like, right, that's it. Vegan propaganda. That can fuck right off. What's Cowspiracy?
The Cowspiracy was one that came out years ago, saying that like cows, the amount of cows we have, and particularly their farts, were destroying the planet. And when they realised no one was going to give up beef, they decided, well, let's make fish the enemy. And I think that's what this one is. I could be wrong, but that's the opinion I'm getting.
Are we suggesting that fish are farting too much then?
I don't know. I don't know if it's their farts that the problem this time. It could be something else.
Because let's be honest. I mean, even with the fishing levels that we've got, right, there's a lot of fish in the sea. You would expect that it was kind of as effervescent as Coca-Cola if that were the case.
I mean, one of the advisors is also one of the advisors for What the Health, I think. You know, the guy that does all the vegan books, which is like, do we have a little bit of agenda here? When, you know, it's not, could you eat half your portion of fish if it's bad for the environment, or eat once or twice a week? It's nothing, or you're a horrible person. I'm like, not into this.
I've noticed there's a lot of this on Twitter, right? You get these people on Twitter that are agitating for change, and they're kind of the activist types. And by and large, they're just awful human beings, right? But when you click on their bio, they've always got a book that they're selling. They're always an author, right, on the topic that they're agitating about, right? And you kind of go, Jesus Christ! I mean, this is a form of marketing in itself. Like, get in people's faces, and and they click on your link, and they go and they end up buying your book. It's all bollocks. Let's be
Did you
honest.
ever watch?
Like,
Did you listen to Lane Norton's article about What the Health, where he basically went through and told you everyone's agendas? And it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger spoke and he had a investment in a vegan supplement line, as did James Cameron, who directed it, as did all these other guys. Like the list of people that had financial investment in vegan diets is astronomical. And I'd love to see how many people turn vegan and are still vegan.
It's going to be a growth area. People are going to move towards plant-based because the marketing and everything that goes with it at the moment suggests that it's the way forward. You know, it's environmentally friendly. It's not, but you know, it's suggested that it's environmentally friendly. There's the suggestion that it's more healthy. It's not. There's the suggestion that it's more sustainable. It's not. Let them go vegan. Look like a bag of shit. Makes the rest of us look better.
Yeah.
I'd love to know how many people who turned vegan after the What the Health documentary are still vegan now. I bet it's a small percentage. I bet lots of them cracked.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's gonna be a few that have gone down that route and stick with it. I've got like vegan slash vegetarian clients, and you know, I help them put together the meal plans and the diet plans, and I need them to kind of obviously understand that there is an educational element to that, because you need to learn how to put together meals that involve more than just beans and rice, because that's not going to cover it. You know, you want to look good when you're naked. You need to make sure you're getting all of the nutrients that are required in order to do that, right? And that goes to like micronutrients as well as macronutrients. Okay, but ignoring that, I don't really have any issue. I don't have any issues with plant-based eating or veganism even. I think that it's perhaps a little bit extreme. But I think that if somebody's doing it for ethical purposes because they just don't like the idea of animals being killed, then I don't have a problem with that. If somebody's doing it for environmental or for health benefits, I think they need to probably go and pick up some proper textbooks instead of picking up some vegan propaganda.
It's exactly my thought. I think if you're doing it for ethical reasons, like, go nuts. I'm not even want to go. I think people are misguided by these things.
Zero issues with that. Even guys that switch to being vegan or vegetarian for their girlfriends, like, I don't really have a problem with that. If it's you know, if you see the value in that person as being higher than the value you place in eating meat, knock yourself out. Fucking go to town.
When the sex drive drops, you might not be so keen.
No, that's a problem for down the line. That's something to deal with later. But no, I think there's too many people making noise that are trying to sell shit, and there's always an agenda, and you just got to look for the agenda. I'm not interested. Like, people will change, right, when it suits them. So trying to convince the world to be more eco-friendly, to be more kind of considerate of the environment, is great, right? Everybody's behind that. Yeah, we should all be more green, until it comes to actually being green and seeing what it takes and what it costs them, right? Because the thing is, like, our fuel consumption that we have right now, that makes it really easy for us to use things like laptops and electricity and all the various bits and pieces that we have, there's going to have to be significant investment in infrastructure to get us away from using some of these fossil fuels. And it's happening, but it'll happen slowly, you know. Asking people to jump through hoops, like, how annoying is it to have to fucking separate out your recycling? It's annoying. It's an inconvenience. I do it, right? I do it because Victoria wants to do it. Like, if I was living on my own, like, all the good intentions in the world go out the window when you've just added shit into my day to take care of. You know,
I think as well. Like, I'm all for doing my bit, and I'm not like throwing shade on this, but I think we're fighting the wrong battles here with regards to things that are going to be saving the planet. You know, I think when we stop lighting up Las Vegas 24 hours a day and stop like launching nuclear weapons under the ocean is probably going to do a lot more than me with my little energy saving light bulb and my bag for life.
You know, the things that make a difference aren't the things that people think make a difference. You know, like I think it's just it's going to be practically impossible to get the kind of change that's required to reverse what's happened over the last 100 years or 200 years, right? I think we're on a slide into the next sort of hot spell, and it's going to be unavoidable. What will happen then is you'll get a pendulum backswing and we'll end up in another ice age. Like, this is what happens. The planet's been doing this for 4 billion plus years. It gets too hot, it cools back down. You know, none of it's going to really impact too much upon my life. Might impact on my kids, but if I make a change tomorrow and I start living a completely carbon zero life, right? What impact will that have? If every single person puts their individual responsibility at the forefront, what do you think is going to happen? Fuck all. Because the biggest marketing ploy, the biggest scam on the planet is that the companies that actually produce the most carbon footprints, the biggest sort of problematic areas, came up with this scam where we all have our own carbon footprint, and then the onus is on the individual rather than on the companies producing the massive amounts, the massive volumes of greenhouse causing gases. So it's all a big market employ. If every single one of us on the planet did our bit, we still wouldn't make a damn bit of difference.
Yeah.
Conspiracy!
Here we go. We're gonna get taken off YouTube. We're gonna be talking lizard people in 3 episodes' time. Just wait, it's coming. Is David Icke gonna be first guest? Please let me be on the episode. I'd love that.
Let's not go down that route. Let's talk about fitness shit, because that's what we're here for. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Robb's photo shoot. How's the prep going?
Well, I'm officially bored shitless of doing kettlebells in my garden, but that's only because the weather's been so cold this week. So I'm looking forward to the gym. Nutrition's been all right.
Yeah.
Been all right. Had to do a couple of sneaky meals with a niece and nephew around the other day, but mate, we're just getting, I'm just spending a good couple of weeks being very, very conscious of myself, very aware of what I want to eat and when. What's my emotions doing, or not emotions, but emotions. What am I doing at the moment? I would like jump through the screen and rip that out of your fucking hands if I could. Things are good. Energy's good, sleep's good, mood's good. So I think I'm in a good place that when I go into that gym, I'm not going to go in with the mindset of right, week 1, let's smash it and end up doing myself a mischief and then can't train at all. Yeah. But I'm in a good place, should we say?
Wicked.
Got my head fully Simon. Unlike you two.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah, you like going back into the gym and trying to smash it on day 1, bad idea. Yeah. I would go down the route of working on like work capacity first of all. And I know you've been hitting it pretty hard with the kettlebells, but it's not quite the same as getting under a barbell, right?
There's limited carryover.
Yeah.
Limited carryover.
So you've probably done more for your aerobic base than you have for your muscle endurance, muscle endurance. So
they're functional, right? I heard that kettlebells were like super functional, and they'll be really helpful when you swing things, when you swing your shopping up in real life and stuff we all do, right?
It's a good segue, Simon, into the fact that functional training is bullshit.
Functional for what? That's the big thing I always think. Like functional for what? Like, why is a leg extension less functional? A knees extend. So I would consider a leg extension pretty fucking functional.
Look, if your goal is to build bigger legs, then leg extension is probably the most functional thing going. So fit for function, fit for purpose, right? So how do How do kettlebells make you any more functional unless what you're trying to do is be the best kettlebeller on the planet?
Yeah.
Rob, do you feel more functional?
If anything, I feel less functional.
Is your best
Anything.
fucking
Because I'm going to walk into the gym and I can't do anything because I've been doing kettlebells for 4 months.
He's gonna walk in and swing barbells around.
Just think he's going to go to his deadlift bar and try and swing it up.
Yeah.
Smashing
Or be
everything.
one of these guys in there doing like deadlifts with only one side of the bar loaded to be more functional. Or
I'm really
Best with your feet up.
tucky
Right,
get-ups with the bar.
I've been obviously doing the kettlebells, but the gym around the corner from me that I'm probably going to train at for myself, not for my clients. It's got hack squat, V squat, pendulum, things like that, and I can't wait to get locked into one of those and go to town on it. And how many people would look at that and go, "Oh, it's not hack squat. Machine's not functional."
You know what's going to happen. Day one, locked into the pendulum with no weight, buries himself.
No weight, reverse banded, and he still can't get up.
Yeah, I think I'll probably struggle even with the fact that I've got the gym here. I'll probably struggle when I go back to training legs in a proper gym. I like to use things like the hack squat. It's my favorite piece of kit. And like even just the weight of the carriage on some of those, like the Cybex ones, are horrendous, right? So even the weight of the carriage, I think it will be problematic. Let's put it that way.
I remember going into a pure gym at once, and I was used to the sort of the Atlantis and Watson hack squats, just because that's what happened to be at the UP gyms. And I went to a pure gym near me when I lived in Canary Wharf, and I just stuck on the same weight. I didn't know anything about how to look at different pieces of equipment at the time. It was just like, oh, it's a hack squat. Stuck 3 plates on each side, and all of a sudden completely floored. It was one of the heaviest hack squats I've ever known in my life. I was like, yeah, that was great. People are staring at me while I'm stuck at the bottom of this hack squat.
You probably haven't had a chance to yet, but the Arsenal strength hack squat is really good. I like that a lot. They've got one at Box in Orpington. Really good. So that's a definite possibility for me when the gyms reopen. I think that people get into their head that exercise is training, and exercise isn't training. Exercise is just fucking output, right? It's not. Training has to go somewhere. So I had a consult today with a guy who's he's been doing F45 previously, and he wants to continue doing some of that. And I had to explain to him that it's great to keep that in for capacity, like for work capacity and for aerobic based stuff, and it's cool. I actually quite like the idea of that being in a plan, but you're also going to have a more regimented and specific resistance training program for you. It's all good saying that a heavy dumbbell is a heavy dumbbell, and if you train with a heavy dumbbell, you'll get bigger and stronger. But if you don't train with a heavy dumbbell the right way, then you won't get bigger and stronger in the places you want to. So, I think there is a lot to be said for just paying attention to specificity. Now, we all know this, right? We all know that we should train for the outcomes we want to achieve. But people don't do that. They don't know that outside of this sort of the fitness industry, and they just think that doing like insanity workouts is going to get you shredded like the dudes in Insanity. You're like, no, that's not how it works. Like, those guys don't do that to get in shape. Those guys do that on video for you guys to follow. But they're training in a gym, following a plan. So
I remember. Anyone remember that show on Channel 4? Must be about a decade ago, about those 4 eccentric gym box personal trainers, and had one guy with a mohawk, American bodybuilder.
It was awful.
Yeah, I remember it was it like Matt the Pillar Miller, who was like this big American bodybuilder, and he launched a business out of that called Broga, which is like yoga for dudes.
I think it's still running, it's still going.
Yeah, It's not bad. It's not bad. But I remember a lot of people coming to that, started doing that, going, "Oh, this is going to make me look like him." It's like, he was a bodybuilder for 20 years. Like, that's not how he got in shape. It's what he's done now. Now he's battered and broken, and wants to do something else.
Sign me up. Sign me up. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that going around. This is how I got in the shape I'm in. You should do this program because it'll make you look like me. Except this guy spent 10, 15 years doing kind of Dorian Yates blood and gut style workouts. That's why he's now doing all the lightweight pumpy stuff.
Yeah. There's an element of that in the mechanics thing, obviously, right? Where this is the big buzzword, and I think everyone I know everyone on this call is into the mechanics stuff, but I think people have taken that way too far, where they see people doing all this stuff online because it's what they learned after they hurt themselves doing all really hard training, and then they've taken it as a 19, 20-year-old, never lifted a dumbbell and never gets anywhere near failure. Yeah. I think that same thing applies.
I'm not going to name any names, but there's plenty of people out there that don't fucking train hard, haven't ever trained hard, that like to tell other people how to train hard. And Simon, no,
maybe in a while.
Simon doesn't train that hard now. But I
was about to say, I came up on my memories the other day on Facebook. You probably would have had as well. The picture of us doing that energy systems workout where you're pointing at me whilst I've just finished lying my back off with my thumb up on the treadmill after doing those deadmill sprints.
So yeah, I was going to say Simon used to train hard because he used to train with me. He was my training partner. So, but then he moved.
Those arm sessions, the Saturday arm sessions, were still some of my favourite sessions I've ever done. Because it was just because we just got chained out, not because of any science strength profile.
Yeah, it was just let's make it as nasty as possible.
Just chains look up. Yeah. See, the chains were too cool. It froze.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just a bro down. It was let's put bands and chains on things just to make them nasty, not because we had a particular this is completely ignoring the thing I was talking about previously with specificity. It was just how can we make this as nasty as possible
and look as cool as possible whilst playing the heaviest metal. Yeah, and playing the heaviest metal possible. Yeah. No Luke McGurk house music and such.
None of that like trance crap.
No one picks up their 1 rep max deadlift to house music. Where do you pick it up? The beat doesn't drop. What is it? I don't get it.
Where's the angry bit? Like,
yeah.
How do you get angry to trance?
Exactly. I can bench press to Stricken by Disturbed. I can't do it to David Guetta or whatever as a house person. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
What do you train to, Rob?
Oh, it's either the most aggressive metal you can think of, or full-on 80s / early 90s power ballads. It's got to get me really upset.
So we're pretty much on the same page, with the exception I will occasionally drop in something like Whitney Houston or Britney Spears or fucking Miley Cyrus.
I will go with the occasional Taylor Swift. Like Shake It Off will get me going for an arm session pretty good.
We've all been there. We've all been there. Yeah, man. Like I think, and that's the beauty of being able to train here in my own little dungeon, is that I can put on whatever music I want and it doesn't offend anyone. Not that I'm really bothered about offending anyone, because I'm not. But as everybody that's on this call knows, I've got no issue with like pissing everybody in the gym off by playing Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody.
Do you remember? Do you remember Justin McGuire did the it was like Pantera Cemetery Gates and then it'd be Barbie Girl. Like no transition between one and the other. And then we took over and became Top Gun Tuesdays.
Yeah, Top Gun Tuesdays were the way forward.
Oh, I miss Top Gun Tuesdays. I really do.
Like it was a special time. Top Gun Tuesdays. I like to sort of just I like to put music on where I'm I know that I can lock in, and it's going to drop at some point, and I can get myself ready, and then lift weight. I've been pin pressing, like kind of like floor pressing, but like just above the floor, just off the pins, and it's so much fucking harder than regular pressing, like so much harder than unracking. Like, and I'm using a football bar, right? So it's got thicker handles, and they're at an angle, and it makes it really hard because there's a kind of a fulcrum point created, and it wants to try and move, like it wants to try and get out of your hands. And because you can't get your hand all the way around it and properly grip it, it's like, it's like that. It's fucking scary. It shouldn't be, because it can't land on me because the pins are there, but it's so much harder. I mean, I'm using a weight for 8 reps that I could have done for 15 reps by unracking it and just benching it. It's crazy. But I've got to put on music that gets me in the mood for that kind of level of, this is going to be really nasty. I'm not going to enjoy this part until it's moving. The first rep is awful. The first rep is always like, there's no like inertia at all. There's no momentum at all. You've got no kind of head of steam built up. Once that first rep's out of the way, you kind of feel that you've got a bit of a head of steam built up. And I take a breath in between every rep, so I'm pushing from a dead stop every time. But it doesn't feel like it from rep 2 onwards. Whereas rep 1 feels like you're trying to push the planet. I'll do this for a few more months. I want to get to the point where I can lift the weight that I'm lifting right now from the pins for 15 reps. And then I'm going to go back to bench pressing, and hopefully that would then have a massive carryover.
Yeah,
it should be like a piece of piss. I want to get back up to benching 3 plates a side, comfortably, but for way more reps than I ever did previously. I don't know. That's my kind of, do that and not have my shoulders fall off.
Yeah,
is my current goal. Simeon, what have you got goal wise? You're like a little sort of virgin tadpole type thing now that you've been released into the wild. So, what is your little virgin tadpole self going to metamorphose into? I just want to make sure you don't do the one thing that people that leave your former employment have a tendency to do when they do leave, which is become kind of a hybrid athlete type, and no, don't do that.
So I was just about to say, so I've picked up a couple of kettlebells, and I'm going to be working on a lot of my aerobic training whilst doing handstands. That's what I was thinking, because I heard that's the thing you do.
Yeah, so lots of
anti-. Hit 30 now.
Single leg stuff.
I hit 30 now, so I've got to become a hybrid CrossFitter marathon runner.
Yeah,
that's how that works, right?
Oh. Declan's running a fucking marathon.
Declan is.
Yeah.
Rather him than me, man. That's brave. That's brave.
I am not about that. Declan O'Sullivan is. I look at Declan and I just think, oh, you got long legs. That's going to really hurt. Like, your knees are going to be really sore. Your hips are going to be really sore. I don't. This sounds bad to me. Like at 210 pounds, I'm too heavy to sprint the way I used to sprint. Right? You just feel it's scary. Right? My joints, my ankles don't feel stable enough for that. And Simon's witnessed me roll my ankles over and over and over again. Just walking, right? My ankles don't like it. And that was it. That was like sort of 12 kilos lighter than I am right now. So sprinting is fucking scary right now. But even going for a run at this weight doesn't appeal. Like, it doesn't appeal at all. It's just all I feel is impact. So I'm going to buy one of the air assault bikes to do my cardio on and to work on energy systems training on, because it's versatile. and it's not, there's no impact to it, and that's the big thing for me, is that I want to massively improve my lung function, because I think COVID's given me a bit of a kicking on that front.
Yeah.
I want to work on VO2 max and improve my lung function and just getting better at gaseous exchange. But I don't want to go out and like pound the tarmac to do it, because that just sounds like pain to me. Like
And going back full circle, you talk about doing things that are specific to the goal in mind. You get yourself an air bike, you can do a fairly decent Cooper's run and actually see how well you're progressing. Right? You can actually can't really do that quite as well, pounding pavement and getting around traffic and people. You could do quite a consistent.
Oh yeah, just set up on the air bike and just be like, right, I'm going to maintain this pace for this long. I want to wear my heart strap and track my heart rate and make sure that everything's moving the way I want it to, and make sure that everything's progressing and moving forward. You know, if my resting heart rate ends up lowering, then things are working. If my VO2 max goes up, then things are working. So it's easily tracked, it's easily managed. And we've got this Reebok exercise bike that she bought for prep in 2019. It's cool, but it doesn't have enough to it. There's not enough give. It doesn't, you know, when you turn the resistance up on it, it's like nothing. Oh my god, I just hit a brick wall.
That's a little bit like the one we bought. We bought a fold-up one here, exactly the same.
So I'm just going to replace that with one of the aerosol bikes and do some energy systems work on there. And you know, all of it, not just high intensity intervals or, you know, riding it till I fall off, but you know, lower stakes, like steady state stuff, lower sort of heart rate zone training for obviously improving cardiac function, bits and pieces like that. Not just the let's get shredded, like not that at all. And also just for building up, like I said previously to Rob, improving the aerobic base, improving work capacity, which then goes hand in hand with being able to train harder in the gym, because you know, you're not limited by the amount of gaseous exchange you can do. You're not limited by muscular endurance. You're able to then do a bit more, get a bit more volume through your muscles, and you know, a couple of extra kilos worth of volume makes a big difference. Yeah, so
sweet.
That's my plan, and then probably compete again in 2022. Fancy doing NABA. Yeah, so there's the NABA Southeast Show, which is usually around about April, May, I think, possibly June. I could be wrong, but it's around about sort of the early part of summer or late spring. I fancy doing that. And then just maybe a couple of PCA shows around that time as well, because I'll be in shape anyway. And yeah, just see if I look any better than I did last time. I'm in better condition at a heavier body weight than I was this far out last time. So I'm pretty happy with that. You know, the body weight I'm at with the waistline that I've got, I'll take. Because that's like, before I did that, Tom Morgan, when he did his first bodybuilding show, when we went, I stayed with him in the hotel for the night before, and we had him posing and stuff, and then I was like, I'm gonna fucking have a quick pose and have a look and see how I'm looking. And I whipped the shirt off and hit a rear double biceps, and I looked like I was the same width the whole way down. And I was like, oh man, like, and I've got a tiny waist, right? Like, I was like, yeah, it's probably time to pick a show. It's gone a bit too far.
Yeah,
that was a little bit heavier than I am now, like sort of 5 pounds heavier than I am right now, but it's just a different shape. So I'm much happier with my condition. I think I'm in a good place where if I decided to compete in 6 months, I'd be thinking to myself, yeah, I'll be looking good. But I'm gonna push for the rest of this year, put on a little bit more weight, push up to about 220 pounds, I think, and just try and stay there and sit there until around about December, and then December will be okay. Let's decide to start going in the opposite direction, and let's drop back down to about 190, 185, 190, and inside out. inside out. So yeah, no fat burners, none of that crap. I'm staying away from all of that this time around. I just think the like taking a whole bunch of caffeine and a whole bunch of other bits and pieces, like things like Shreddable, where you just feel as if you're gonna die, or like 15 fucking milligrams of yohimbine a day, and just thinking like, I am so anxious. Like, no, we're not going to do any of the fat burning stuff. We're just going to do it with diet and additional activity. So we're going to do extra cardio, or as I like to put it, I'm actually going to do some cardio this time around.
Sure.
I never know with things like your himbine as well, right? Like whenever I've thrown in a bit of your himbine, and is it really working? Or is it the fact that I've just been dieting longer, more consistently, and probably harder as I go along?
I think it's probably less of an impact than people think. I quite like the vasoburn stuff, and it's meant to be like topical yohimbine, but it's not. That's not what works. What works is that it increases blood flow to the area, because it's basically putting like pepper spray on your skin. So it's really uncomfortable. It's really nasty, but it draws blood to the area, which helps with mobilization. So I think that there's a benefit to that. Plus, it does feel nasty when you're doing cardio, and I think cardio is boring as fuck. So anything that makes it feel like it's nastier is a bonus to me.
Well, exactly. I always think as well with the you once you've stuck the vasoburn on, I better do my cardio now because it's already uncomfortable. Let's get it done. But again, is it the himbine that's worked, or was it the fact that you're actually doing your cardio because now you're feeling like you're burning and you need to do it?
Yeah. So when you put the vasoburn on, you put it on, you kind of like, I gotta train now. I gotta do my cardio now. Because what I don't want to do is have a shower and wash this off, and then get on the train, and for it to reactivate itself somehow on the train.
Oh yeah.
I'll be sitting there with the whole of my lower back just sweating and completely scarlet red.
It could be worse. You could put that stuff on and then need to go to the toilet mid-session and
we've all done
touch
it.
your balls.
We've all done it. Right?
That's not pleasant.
We've all done it, and it makes it a very unpleasant session. But
you're not sitting down on a bench for a while. Everything's standing.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna do cardio for a change, because I've dieted down on a number of occasions, and I think only once did I bother doing cardio, and it was the most consistent that I dropped. But the rest of the time, I just haven't bothered doing it. I've been like, oh yeah, I think I'll do some cardio next week. The only cardio I did for the 2019 preps was pretty much in the week between, the 6 days between shows, where I decided that I was gonna. They told me I need to come in a bit drier and harder, and they said you need to come in a little bit bigger and a little bit drier and harder. I mean, I can't do anything a bit bigger in 6 days, but I can do something a bit drier and harder. So I dropped 15 pounds in 6 days. I don't recommend it. And so I came in a lot drier and harder. But I did 3 hours of cardio a day. None for the whole of the 6 month prep, and then all of it in a week. All right, let's call it a day. We've waffled enough bollocks. This one hasn't gone anywhere. We've just been chatting, so I don't mind. People just have to suck it up. We're not always going to give you information. There you go. All right, and on that note, fuck off.
Hey, there's guys.